The Out of Bounds Show podcast is powered by the DeWalt tools at Ace Bolt and Screw. Visit acebolt.net for a location near you.
WRKS.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
It's now morning.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9.
All set? Let's go.
The Zone.
Well, it's been a while, since 2007, I think, since we broadcast from Omaha, Nebraska in the College World Series, so we thought we would do it again. Welcome in, welcome in. Good morning, good morning. We are live from Omaha in the CWS. You're listening to the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, WRKS. We are streaming live on thezone1059.com and the Out of Bounds radio app. Want to welcome you in. Say good morning. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. You know what we're going to talk about today, and that is the National Championship Series here at the CWS with the Vanderbilt Commodores and the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Been a wild weekend. I got here on Friday. I guess I decided Thursday when we were at the beach that what the heck, jump on a plane, see what's going on, and glad I decided to come out. It's been a cool, fun time. Had the opportunity to see people from everywhere that I haven't been able to catch up with in a long time, and there are people from all over the country. Hail State fans from the West Coast, from the Midwest, Chicago, among others that I ran into, and of course the East Coast and the Northeast. So that's pretty cool. Several different ways that you can get in touch with us today. Because I'm on remote, we'll go with the 601-995-1059 call-in line. Brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. Bundle your auto and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Our Twitter handle at BoBounds is presented by Rick's Pro Truck, RPT, spray and bed liners and lift kits at Rick's Pro Truck. And then your text line. Your text line is 601-885 3776 885-3776. Would love to hear from you today when it comes to Hail State baseball, Vanderbilt, and what happened in North Carolina State over the weekend, which we will get to. Want to thank Will and Ben for getting us on the air, and hopefully we'll stay connected. You never know when you're in a hotel. But we're crossing our fingers. We hope you will, too. Again, I want to thank you for grabbing a cup of coffee, maybe a Gatorade, Dr. Pepper, whatever it is you do, and hanging out with us today. We will have some guests. We're trying to kind of play with that right now as far as schedule, and so we'll see how that looks over the next 30 minutes or so. But I'll update you every segment to let you know kind of who's joining us and so on. Let's get right into it. This is for all the marbles, and this is it is. I'm running into people out here. There are some people who have lived, Mississippi State baseball for years, and they get the whole process and so on. And then there are some people who are, Mississippi State alums, and they keep up with it from afar, but they don't necessarily lock in on a game-to-game basis like we do on this show. I mean, we cover almost every MSU or Ole Miss baseball game, even if we just weigh in for a couple of minutes, which is unbelievable, by the way. But my point is, last night at dinner, we had a magnificent dinner. I'll tell you more about that later. An unbelievable Italian place here, kind of a dive down in the heart of the city. It is so difficult to get here. I mean, you got to go through a regional. In baseball, you can easily get beat. It doesn't matter if you have more talent. That's just the way, the whole game is set up and plays out. Super regional. All of a sudden, you have one bad game, then you're in a 1-1 deal, game 3, whatever. And then this format is an absolute gauntlet. It's a gauntlet. And Mississippi State and Vanderbilt got a lucky break, so to speak, at the hands of NC State and COVID positive test and contact tracing, which we all know, if you have half a brain, is one of the silliest things we've ever done in the history of America, and are ridiculous, and that's saying something. But Mississippi State is able to navigate their way through Texas and Virginia, two big-time baseball programs, both loaded. And you all saw what played out over the weekend. Madden was great on Friday, and Houston Harding was pretty good. But you can't walk 11 people starting in whatever inning that was and think that you're going to win the game against a pretty ferocious Texas team. By the way, they've got freshman after freshman that very, very talented. And I expect to, see them back here sooner than later. Saturday, absolutely wild with Bednar doing what he had to do. And then, of course, Tanner Leggett. That's kind of the story the last 36 hours. I feel like I've been gone a month and a half. But Tanner Leggett steps up to the plate in the ninth inning. He's a walk-on. This is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Because I think all of us have, that walk-on mentality in us. And, hold on. Excuse me. And so Tanner Leggett is from Central Hines, which I think they usually graduate about 20 kids a year. Goes to JUCO, and he's a JUCO walk-on who has kind of played sparingly. And he steps up to the plate and rips a slider between left and center field, and the rest is history with Skinner scoring. And his stolen base was absolutely just bonkers huge to go along with everything that we just went over. And now here we are, and NC State had to forfeit because of, I guess, archaic, insane COVID protocol rules. And they should have been able to play. We're packing 22 to 24,000 people in the stadium without worrying about who's been vaccinated or who hasn't been vaccinated. Again, this is a virus with 99% survival rate. Well, that's low, but whatever. And they just yank the rug out from under NC State so that they don't have a chance to play for the national title. And, the NCAA made a terrible decision several weeks ago on the women's golf tournament down in Baton Rouge. It's just, again, between the PC and claiming this is what the CDC wants, it's really unbelievable. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. You're playing Vanderbilt, and you got to beat Vanderbilt twice, or they got to beat you twice. And, we'll go from there. Now, here's the interesting part. Leiter and Macleod tonight. I've got some thoughts on that. Kumar threw on Friday, so he may throw. If there's a Game 3 Wednesday, I guess, he may throw for Vanderbilt. You would think Bednar's done unless he can go like 2 innings, maybe mid-relief on Wednesday, Game 3 if necessary. Welcome in. Good morning. We're just getting started on a Monday. Hope you're doing well. I see some of the texts. You guys are driving. You've been driving through the night to get here. Incredible how many Mississippi State fans are here. Show is brought to you by the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook and award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. You're listening to the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone ESPN. I'm your host, Bo Bounds, live from Omaha. The Out of Bounds Show podcast is brought to you by Boar's Head, premium meats, cheeses, and hummus. Boar's Head, compromise elsewhere. Well, it's so far it's a sunny day in Omaha. It's been pretty overcast since I've been here. And Saturday, the temps dropped a little bit. And but it looks like some sunshine coming out over here. I'm overlooking the stadium here from my hotel in the CHI Health Center in Omaha, Nebraska. But I can see TD Ameritrade and some of the seats in the stadium. And what a tournament. I can't imagine. I mean, I am running into people left and right who have been out here the whole time. That is incredible to me because I feel like time, when you come out here, time stops. I mean, you're in the middle of the country, and it is crazy to think that people have been here for 9, maybe 10 days. One couple I ran into, they have 3 kids with them under, I think, 8 or 9. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. They have 3 kids with them, under 9 years old. They got out here the Friday before the tournament started, or Thursday. And they went through the whole thing, and then when Mississippi State had a couple of days off, they drove to Mount Rushmore. How about that? And spent a couple of days, or maybe 2 nights in South Dakota, and then drove back to Omaha, Nebraska. And we're receiving text on the Mississippi Ag John Deere Tractor text line, 601-885-3776. We're receiving text that people are listening to the show that have been driving all night. So, 1, be careful. Make sure to get the coffee or whatever it is you need. And then 2, come on in and join the party. It has been wild. It's best 2 of 3. Vanderbilt, Mississippi State. Vanderbilt's kind of who knew years ago that Vanderbilt would be, the evil team and the I guess the hated villain, right, to a certain extent. And it's a combination of the scholarships that they have access to. And I don't know, maybe the Whistler who drives people crazy. The fact that they haven't shut that down is surprising to me. But he's made it about him, not the Vanderbilt baseball team. But that's a whole other deal. And then, this North Carolina State Vandy thing, and people feel like, well, Vandy got the free pass at the end. Bottom line is, Chris Lemonis, Jake Gautreaux, and Scott Foxhall are thinking, how do we score one more run than Vanderbilt tonight? Al Leiter will be on the mound. I'm sorry, Jack Leiter. I just dated myself again. Jack Leiter will be on the mound tonight against Christian Macleod. And Macleod did not have a good outing on Tuesday. And so we'll see if he can bounce back. He's been struggling down the stretch. And, boy, this is a big moment for him. Bednar really took things in his own hands and decided to write his own chapter in the Mississippi State history books by throwing an all-out gem last Sunday, and then had a super outing on Saturday against Texas. So he's looked awesome, and Landon Sims has looked awesome. I think the real question right now for Mississippi State is how much pitching depth do you really have? And I asked this throughout the year. You heard a lot about the staff, and I don't doubt that there's talented arms, but outside of Bednar and Landon Sims, again, Houston Harding's looked good. He's a good, solid to good pitcher. And Preston Johnson's looked good. You've had some other guys, but, man, you're going to have to piece it together tonight. And I would think Lemonis and Foxhall are willing to throw as many as it takes. I mean, if you got a guy, this guy goes 2, this guy goes 1, this guy goes 1, 2, whatever, to figure it out. And also the question on what will be Landon Sims' role over the next couple of days, because he's thrown a lot for what he's used to. Now, they did a great job managing him in February, March, April, and May. So they're going to push it a little bit as they have, because this is what it's. I mean, look, Madden came back for Texas on Friday, thrown on Sunday, and he threw 111 plus pitches or something. So it is what it is. It's a warm time of year, and we'll see how the pitching looks. Leiter, we know, even though Mississippi State beat him several weeks ago and got to him, he can be flat out dominant. He can also be roughed up. So he is hittable, but very, very, very talented and expected to be a top 10 pick in the Major League Baseball draft. I want to say good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. It is Mississippi State and Vanderbilt, not MSU and North Carolina State. And it is, it's interesting, the lack of logic and reason. And this is starting 16 months ago, but you'll pack 22 to 24,000 people in the stands that are not getting tested, or who knows who's been vaccinated and so on. And but man, as soon as you get a negative test, they run around like crazy people, and that's what happened with the NCAA eventually making North Carolina State forfeit on. Well, I guess it was like 1 a.m. Saturday morning when it broke. I was at the stadium, somewhere in there, I think, through that big rain delay with the Mississippi State and Texas game that bled into Saturday morning where Texas won. So you've got that story. You got the fact that Bednar's been great, Kumar Rocker. You've got this young man named Tanner Leggett who comes out of nowhere with the game-winning hit. Again, back to Tanner Allen. That kid's been special time and time again. Mississippi State has left a lot out there, so to speak, and I think they would like to have, they need to generate a big inning, knock down some big runs. They've loaded the bases, had some things happen to them, didn't quite, go get what they thought that was out there, so to speak. They're going to need some guys to step up in the order. And I mean, Brad Cumbas, Kellum Clark, Luke Hancock, some of those guys. It looks like Rowdy may be getting going again. All Tanner Allen does is hit. You need Cam James to make some barreled up, make some really good contact. You got some guys with some pop and power, but you're going to need everything to get through this Vanderbilt Commodore team that is, as you know, absolutely loaded, and Tim Corbin is able to recruit at a high level at Vanderbilt, and they have more first-round picks than anybody else the last decade. So I'm sure you saw that floating around Twitter. We're going to go to the Mississippi Ag, a John Deere tractor text line. I love True Maroon. True Maroon says, because Jack Leiter will be on the mound, which means we will see and hear about Al Leiter 45,000 times. That is true. You will hear, I will tell you who's going to be here at noon today, or somewhere around there. Rafael Palmeiro. So Palmeiro will be in the house, which is pretty cool. Flying in from Dallas, Texas. So Mississippi State Vanderbilt tonight, 6 o'clock, Omaha, Nebraska. TD Ameritrade. We're live from the College World Series in Omaha. You're listening to the Out of Bounds Show, brought to you by Mississippi Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Center. Any age, any sport, any injury, they've got you covered at Mississippi Sports Medicine. Back in a second, you're listening to Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9. The Out of Bounds Show podcast is presented by Edwin Watts Golf Shop on County Line Road. Your golf game starts with Edwin Watts Golf Shop. All right, we'll talk about what's at stake. Let's just be honest. The elephant in the room is that the Mississippi State baseball program has accomplished everything you can accomplish in college baseball except winning a national championship. Now, it should have been done years ago, but it wasn't. So now the task is on Chris Lemonis and this Hail State baseball team. Sometimes your most talented team, doesn't win it. And a team that is talented, obviously Mississippi State's team is talented, but it is by far not even close to, one of the most talented teams I think that they have had over the last 35 to 40 years. But they've got some really good pieces. They've had an excellent starter in Bednar, a phenomenal closer in Landon Sims, one of the best college baseball hitters maybe ever in Tanner Allen, and guys that come up in big moments. I told you last week, a friend of mine had he framed it up pretty well when he was talking about Hail State baseball. He said, they're not really special at pitching, they're not really special at fielding, and they're not really special at hitting, but they're special at winning. And that's what they've done. And they just went through a Texas team. Whew, goodness gracious. Those guys, that was a loaded roster. So tip of the cap to Texas, but also to Mississippi State for getting through. Vanderbilt, on the other hand, NC State runs into ridiculous COVID protocols. And, again, NC State players at zero risk, Vanderbilt too. And as the deal played out, the NCAA felt like that NC State needed to forfeit the game, which automatically put Vanderbilt in the national championship series against Mississippi State. So that's where we are. Two SEC teams to get after it tonight and tomorrow night and possibly Wednesday night. We're live from Omaha overlooking TD Ameritrade and the College World Series. Want to welcome you in. Hope you're doing well. We are the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 105.9 The Zone, WRKS. Our College World Series coverage this morning is brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. Bundle your auto and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. And you can also go to favorites.com, F-A-V-E, favorites.com, and get a quote in 4 minutes or less. Farm Bureau Insurance call-in line today, because we're on remote, is 601-995-1059. 601-995-1059. And we'll have Jack Leiter tonight for Vanderbilt against Christian Macleod. The story of Saturday night and Sunday was a young man by the name of Tanner Leggett. So this is insane. You're sitting. Look, there are Mississippi State fans that didn't know who Tanner Leggett was. Let's just be honest. Now, some of you that are gung-ho, that follow it, but there were people watching Saturday night who were like, oh, this guy, okay. And then, boom, he rips a walk-off game-winning hit to punch your ticket to the National Championship Series. It's unbelievable. But you had two guys who Lemonis referred to as his JUCO bandits. I love this, by the way, because we talk about JUCO. You know how good Mississippi JUCO baseball is, football, among other sports. And it serves a valuable purpose for many, many kids, male and female, and athletes and non-athletes. But Braylon Skinner and Tanner Leggett, the JUCO bandits, come up with two big plays. Skinner with the stolen base, which was huge. Obviously, he's at second, put a runner in scoring position, and then Tanner Leggett is able to hit a slider, which evidently that's a pitch that he really struggles with. That makes two of us, Tanner. He takes a slider and just rips it over the shortstop's head for a no-doubt walk-off, and, of course, Skinner scores easily. So that's kind of who Mississippi State is. Now, they've got some frontline talent, Bednar, Sims, Tanner, Rowdy, among some others. Some guys are emerging. Cam James and Luke Hancock and Brad Cumbus, if he drops football and goes baseball, and Kellum Clark, and Logan Tanner. Logan Tanner's got pop, and he's proven that he can play and so on. You kind of feel like all those guys are coming back, okay? Some of those, or all, are big dudes, okay? And so they're big, they can hit in the gap, power, and hit bombs. You kind of feel like that group is going to take a step forward next year. Here's the deal. You've got to have somebody, if not more than one, out of that group. And I know Scotty DeBrule has been getting on base and hits, walks, sacrifice flies that are very important. But he's a senior. He's not coming back. And I want to stay with the Cam James, Luke Hancock, Logan Tanner, Brad Cumbus, Kellum Clark. That group right there. They have flashed signs of showing you that they can be really good at the plate. You're going to need a couple of those guys to step up at different moments, especially in situational hitting when you have runners on or with 2 outs or 2 strikes or all of the above. So I think that's what you kind of monitor when you look at this lineup. Cam James, young. Luke Hancock, young. Logan Tanner, another young player. And Brad Cumbus and Kellum Clark. They're all big. They can hit for power. They have shown flashes of playing big-time baseball at times, but at times have really struggled, which is understandable when you're young and you're going through the first 60-something games in this league or in this tournament, if you will. So that'll be interesting to me. What can they – and then, look, your 2 frontline guys at start – I know Rowdy leads it off, and he's huge, but those 2 guys are going to have to hit the baseball. And, Vanderbilt hasn't hit the baseball, I think, like we thought they would. They're capable. We know that. But maybe they haven't hit it to the level that we thought they would, especially as of late. So we'll keep an eye on that. Now, Christian Macleod, let's call it he has struggled. He's got a chance to go out in a big way tonight as a Mississippi State Bulldog because he'll be heading to the Major League Baseball draft too. He's a good player. He's obviously got talent. At times he's thrown really well, and then at times has struggled. He has struggled as of late. So you could look at it like he's due, or maybe he's hit a wall. I don't know. But he's had a lot of rest, and he hasn't thrown since last Tuesday. We'll see how it looks tonight. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. Good morning, welcome in. I'm live from Omaha, overlooking TD Ameritrade. As we get ready for 6 o'clock, Game 1 of the National Championship Series tonight, Vanderbilt against Mississippi State. This is WRKS ESPN. The Farm Bureau Insurance call-in line is 601-995-1059. And Vanderbilt is the hated villain in this whole thing. 1, because of their scholarship advantage, and 2, because of everything that played out between Vanderbilt and Vanderbilt didn't. People have said Vanderbilt had something to do with it. I don't see how that would be the case, but Vanderbilt got the luck of the draw because NC State ran into some tough COVID protocol stuff. And so that's where we are. Their game was canceled on Saturday, and that's how Vanderbilt's in the National Championship Series. They would have had to have thrown lighter on Saturday. Yeah. So Jack Leiter, they would have had to have thrown Leiter like Mississippi State through Bednar on Saturday. Nick on the Mississippi Ag text line. He says there's only 2 cities in America that aren't rooting for MSU, Nashville and Oxford. The bald guy says Tanner Leggett is a local boy. He went to Central Hines Academy. Yes, we mentioned that several times earlier. He went to Central Hines, JUCO, and walk on at Mississippi State. It's an unbelievable story. He took advantage of his opportunity and the moment, and he will be remembered forever. I mean, seriously, he will be. Now, if they win it, holy smokes! I mean, he's already the guy that that knocked in the walk-off winning run against Texas to send you to the national championship series. But if they win it, whoa. I'm not sure that Tanner Leggett will ever have to buy a meal or a beer in Starkville, Mississippi again. What do y'all think? I don't think he will. 601-995-1059, brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. Will is live in the Bank Plus studio. Blake is running around Omaha, probably lecturing Vanderbilt fans. So who knows with the Blakey Blakester? There's no telling what kind of trash talking he could be doing or could have done yesterday or today. So it could be a long day. Here's the great this tournament is great. The people here are amazing. They're a lot like Mississippi people, which, by the way, one of my 900 Uber drivers that's picked me up in the last few days was from Tupelo, Mississippi. I mean, really? He's been up here for 25 years. Super nice guy. And he gets 6 weeks off a year in his job. And every year he takes one of his 6 weeks vacation, and he drives Uber because the money's so good. Isn't that amazing? But back to Omaha people. So when you get off the plane or you drive in, I mean, they're just so nice and kind. I mean, everybody here is happy to see you. And Mississippi State always brings the biggest crowds, even trumping LSU when LSU's rolling. And they have painted this town maroon and white several times. But the one thing that hasn't happened, as you know, is they have yet to go home with the big trophy. And, you got to do it at some point. You have to. And again, it should have been done forever ago. And I could get all into that, but I'll pass. This program's done it all. You have Major League Baseball players that are household names. Obviously, you built a couple of stadiums that were on the cutting edge of college baseball. You created organically a Mardi Gras experience from foul pole to foul pole of some of the most amazing food and a baseball party like nothing that anybody has ever seen in the world of college baseball that started in the 70s. I mean, heck, John Grisham sat out there as a student. John Grisham wrote kind of a not article, but wrote a piece about, the left field lounge. And you've got a rabid committed fan base. I know we've got others. And like Rafael Palmeiro will be, I was walking through these hotels. I mean, we're right here, this strip of the Hilton, the Marriott, the DoubleTree. And, you see former players here. And so, they all want it for this group. And this group's an interesting group. It's again, talented, but I feel like that collection of that group of guys is nowhere near what they're going to be a year from now. but they're going to have to step up in the next 3 days. And again, it goes Cam James, Luke Hancock, Logan Tanner, Brad Cumbest, and Kellum Clark. And they're young. They're still trying to figure it out. They need more at-bats. They can hurt you. They can rip a double. They can rip a home run. They're all big, strong guys. But you would have to believe they have an opportunity to hit 15-plus, 20-plus points higher next year. That group is really, I think, going to have to step up. And then I think the other question is who's going to do it in mid-relief? And how are they going to use Landon Sims? Obviously, if Vanderbilt's up a couple, 1 run, 2 runs, 3 runs, you're not going to see him. But how will he be used and how much gas does he have left in the tank is the question. And who will be your game 2 starter? But first things first, Mississippi State's got to win game 1 to win another one. And, Vanderbilt, this is huge. Huge. And it's such an interesting format. Best 2 of 3. National Championship Series in Omaha, Nebraska. And, again, tip of the cap for those that have been out here for forever and ever. It's a magical place. It's a beautiful, clean town. The people are wonderful and amazing and have great hospitality. But when I tell you, you feel like time stops and you are in the middle of nowhere, you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. Let's see what Ronnie has to say on the Mississippi Ag text line. Bo, this is Ronnie. It's not if they're going to bring the Natty to Starkville this year. It's when. Okay. D from Brandon. Let's see. Skinner, the Steel, Epic. Yeah. That was a big-time play from Braylon Skinner to pinch run and get the steal and all that. This is interesting. The bald guy on the Mississippi Ag text line says, Bo, I'm an Ole Miss guy. And Tanner's dad and our friends, since before Tanner was born, I'm rooting for Mississippi State. Good for you. That's kind of cool that you've known his dad that long. That's crazy. True Maroon on the Mississippi Ag text line says, the drinking game for tonight, 1 shot every time they show Al Leiter, 1 shot every time they show Tracy Rocker, and 1 shot every time they mention Kumar Rocker. Yeah, that'll be heavy. That'll be a lot for sure. No doubt about it. So this is it. I mean, Mississippi State fans are determined to bring a national title home that's never been done. And it's, it's all on this team, and if they don't win it, it'll be all on another team. I'm going to be honest. Running this gauntlet is unbelievable. I mean, it's so difficult to get here. The format is brutal. Regionals, super regionals, and then this deal. Win it and then start over with the best 2 or 3. Incredible. How we talk about it all the time. Winning's hard. Winning is hard. I don't care sport, level of play, whatever. But to get here, and I've also said this program is defined by Omaha. The rest is cute and sweet and fun. And it was way too much focus on that nonsense, years before. A guy named John Cohen came in, totally rebooted it, modernized the college baseball, your college baseball program, and said it without saying it, that this will matter, and this is the deal, and you need to talk about it, and you need to talk about it all the time, and it needs to be, the relentless goal of winning a championship. It wasn't that for years for whatever reason. It will be, I can't explain it, and I don't understand it, but Cohen finally understood this program, you need to be judged on Omaha. And you need to win and win a lot of games here. And that's what they've done since 2013. And that's what it's all about. The barbecue is great. The smoke over the field is great. The packing of the stadiums is great. And the dude and all that. But this program will be judged on right here. You got to get here a lot, and you got to win. And so that's what they have been doing for the last 8 years. Got to live in super regionals, got to punch your ticket here a lot. And when you get here, you can't go 0-2 and 1-2. It's just not acceptable. And so now what have they done? They've won their way into their second national championship series. Were there in 2013, ran into 2 first-round picks, and were they both top 5 or top 10? I don't remember. But anyway, the UCLA guys could deal. And you'll go against another first-rounder tonight in Jack Leiter from Vanderbilt. I really want to focus on that group of 5. They're young guys. They can hit with power. They've shown flashes. They have talent. But they need another 8 months. But my question is, what will their production level look like after this series? That'll tell you a lot. And who's going to step up on the mound? Who are the guys that are going to come in and get you an inning? Get you an inning and 2/3. Get you 2 innings throughout the night, tonight, tomorrow night. Tonight first. Boy, you'd love to get 4, 5 innings from Macleod. I mean, I think if you got 5 and he only gives up a run or 2, you're thrilled. And then you go into mid-relief with a Preston Johnson or someone else. But you would love for Macleod to have one of his best outings that he's had all year, because I think that's probably what it's going to take to put yourself in position to win tonight against Vandy. So we'll see. Hey, we're live from Omaha. I'd forgotten this. We did a show here in 2007 from a sports bar. Isn't that crazy? Totally forgot about that. Have no idea where we were. Cannot remember. Feels like 30 years ago, which is wild. But we were out here in 2007 and did a show from a sports bar. I called a random sports bar, and we did that. Anyway, our College World Series coverage today is brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. 82 counties. That's right. They have a presence in 82 counties. Bundle your auto and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. And the show is also brought to you by Mississippi Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Center. Any age, any sport, any injury, they've got you covered. Hour number 2 coming up of the Out of Bounds Show on ESPN 105.9 The Zone, WRKS.